Welcome to all. Our today's lecture is on the Birkhoff's theorem. For the Birkhoff's theorem, we have to consider the spherically symmetric matter distribution. Spherically symmetric matter distribution. We have to consider this, or we have to consider the star. As we know that sun is a star. Okay, sun is a star, and the sun is spherical body, right? So it is spherically symmetric. Spherically symmetric means if we divide the sun spherically, like that, if we divide along the radius, then it is in this way. Okay, so this will be how it look. All the parts are symmetric parts of the sphere. Okay, all here the parts are symmetric. Therefore we say that this as here all these parts are symmetric, therefore we say that this is a spherically symmetric body, and sun is a sphere, therefore this will give us a, therefore sun is a spherically symmetric body, and the sun has some radius, because every sphere has a radius, therefore here sun is also has a radius, and we suppose for r equals to a. Okay, that is we confine our matter in the radius r equals to a, that is matter is presented inside only the radius r equal to a. For example, here we take this space is this one, and within this space we have here, this is a star or spherically symmetric matter distribution, and this matter distribution is within a radius r equal to a, and outside this we have r greater than a, and outside this matter distribution we have the empty space time. Okay, that is this field here is has nothing present is here, that is no matter is present outside this spherical ball, only except the gravitation. No matter is present here within a radius r greater than a. Now, as we have seen the Schwarzschild exterior solution, so the gravitational field for the r greater than a, that is outside this matter. Okay, the gravitational field for outside this matter is given by the Schwarzschild exterior solution. Schwarzschild exterior solution. So what the meaning of exterior here means? Outside this matter located. And as we know that the Schwarzschild exterior solution is the solution of Rmn equals to 0, that is for the empty space time. And in deriving this, that is in deriving the Schwarzschild exterior solution, we assume the three conditions. That first one is field is spherically symmetric. Second one is that our field is static. And the third one is that the domain r greater than a is empty. That is outside this we have the empty space time, and which is given by Tmn equals to 0. Okay. So in deriving the Schwarzschild exterior solution, we have these three assumptions, and we require that our field should be static. But even if we could not consider static field, we get that is if we reject this assumption, if we reject this assumption for deriving the Schwarzschild exterior solution, we get that is if the exterior field in the domain r greater than a is assumed to be time dependent, so even if we assume our field is time dependent, then we get that it again becomes static. What this is meaning, that if we reject this second assumption static of the Schwarzschild exterior solution, then and we assume that our Schwarzschild space-time of Schwarzschild-Excier solution is time dependent, then we again get it became a static for this empty space-time, and this gives us a Birkhoff's theorem, and we state that Birkhoff's theorem state that the spherically symmetric field in vacuum is static. That is, every spherical symmetric field we give this as a static in a vacuum space-time. Okay, in a vacuum we get the spherical symmetric field is static, or we can say that the spherical symmetric vacuum space-time has a Schwarzschild solution. That is, the solution is Schwarzschild solution, that is for the field r greater than a we get the Schwarzschild-Excier solution. If the metric is not explicitly assumed to be static, means we are not assume that the metric is static, but we get that it is a Schwarzschild solution, and which is for the Schwarzschild solution, as we know that the Schwarzschild-Excier solution is static. Okay, so this is a statement of Birkhoff's theorem, and we prove this Birkhoff's theorem. So for this we consider the spherical symmetric body, and we have to find the gravitational field equation, which is for the r greater than a. That is, outside this spherical body we have to find the gravitational field equation for the domain r greater than a, and outside this spherical body our Tmn is equals to 0 because of the empty space-time. Okay, so in considering this, we suppose that we start with our spherically symmetric field, that is a line element, and where we take that is the spherically symmetric line element is given by we have ds square equals to minus e to the power a dr square minus r square d theta square plus sine square theta d phi square plus e to the power b dt square. We give this as a equation number 1. So we take the line element. Now here, as a and b are the functions where a and b are functions of, now we assume this a and b are function of r and t. That is, our line element is not static now, because e to the power a is depend on t, e to the power b is depend on t. Okay, and therefore the static means the gmn comma 4 equals to 0. But now here g 4 which is equals to e to the power b. Okay, so this e to the power b is time dependent quantity because b is time dependent. Okay, and therefore this is not equals to, that is g 4 comma 4 is not equals to 0, and hence our line element we assume here it is not static. And what the Birkhoff's theorem said, that the spherically symmetric field in vacuum is static. So we have assumed here that our spherically symmetric field is not static, and we prove that this is going to be a static field. For that is, this gives us a Schwarzschild solution, and which is a static field. Okay, so here we solve this equation for the general Einstein field equation. The general Einstein field equation is given by, that is, we take the general Einstein field equation in the mixed tensor form. Gmn equals Gmn plus capital lambda delta of Mn equals to minus 8 pi Tmn. Okay, so minus 8 pi Tmn, and we give this as a equation number 2. So here our field equation we are taking as a Gmn plus capital lambda. This capital lambda is called as a cosmological constant. Delta of Mn is our chronicle delta, that is equals to minus 8 pi Tmn. Okay, and here Gmn is our Einstein tensor, which is in a mixed tensor form, and which is given by Gmn is equals to Rmn, that is Richter tensor in the mixed tensor form, minus 1 upon 2r delta of Mn. Okay, so for the Birkhoff's theorem we are taking the mixed tensor form of the Einstein field equation, and which is a general field equation with a cosmological constant capital lambda. This capital lambda is our cosmological constant. Now this is equals to, that is we have here Gmn equals to this one, and Rmn equals to this. Rmn can be found as, this is in the mixed tensor form, and this can be written as GMS, that is conjugate metric tensor, into RNS. So S is here our dummy suffix, and this dummy suffix get cancelled, so this lower suffix become in the mixed tensor form. Okay, and capital R, here is our capital R. So capital R is RNN, that is R is equals to R11 plus R22 plus R33 plus R44. Okay, so to solve this equation number 1, we have to solve this for the R greater than A, and for R greater than A we have this Tmn equals to 0. So for empty space time we have Tmn equals to 0, and therefore equation 2 implies Tmn equals to 0, and therefore if we transfer this Tmn into the mixed tensor form T upper suffix m and lower suffix n, we get this also 0. Okay, and therefore equation 2 becomes Gmn plus capital lambda delta mn is equals to minus 8 pi, that is this one is 0, so equal to 0, and we give this as the equation number 3. So to solve this equation 1, we have to find the values of, what we have to find the values of A and B. Okay, now to find the values of A and B for the empty space time, we have to calculate this Gmn, and this Gmn can be calculated from, as Gmn is given by Rmn minus 1 upon 2 R delta mn. So we have to calculate this, and for this we have to calculate the Rmn, and Rmn is nothing but our GMS RNS. So to calculate Rmn, we require to find the values of RNS, that is we have to calculate the non-vanishing Christoffel and also Ricci tensor to find Ricci tensor. Okay, and R, which is equals to Rnn, so we have to find R11, R22, R33, R44, and substitute all this value here, we get that Rmn, and then we substitute that values in Gmn, so we get the required Gmn. Okay, so we directly writing those equations for the Gmn for line element in equation 1. G11 equals to, it is minus e to the power a, comma G22 is equals to, G22 is here second coordinate is our theta coordinate, so its coefficient is our G22, so it is minus r square. G33 is equals to minus r square into sine square theta. G44 is equals to e to the power b, and Gmn equal to 0 for m not equals to n, right? Also, our conjugate metric tensor G upper suffix 1 1 is the reciprocal of this. So reciprocal of this is nothing but minus e to the power minus a, comma G upper suffix 2 2 is nothing but minus 1 upon r square. G upper suffix 3 3 is equals to minus 1 upon r square sine square theta. G44 upper suffix 44 is e to the power minus b, and G upper suffix mn equal to 0 for m not equals to, for m equal to n. That is for m, right, m not equals to n. Okay, so for m not equals to n, then these Gmn's are 0. Now from this we can find the non-vanishing Christoffel symbol as here. So our G11, now 1 1 is depend on, for the non-vanishing Christoffel symbol we say that here A is a function of r and t. That is, we have assumed that this is our line element where a and b are function of r and t. Therefore, 1, 1 is depend on 1, 4, that is r coordinate, and the fourth coordinate is our time coordinate. 2, 2 is depend on 1, 3, 3 is depend on 1 and theta, that is r and theta, so 1 and 2, and 4, 4 is depend on, that is e to the power b. B is a function of r and t, so 4, 4 is depend on 1, 4. Now, from this, our list of our non-vanishing Christopher symbol are given by gamma of 1, 1, gamma of 4, 1, 1, gamma of 1, 4, 1, comma, gamma of 1, 4 or 1, 4. Okay, as 1, 4, 1 is equals to gamma of 1, 1, 4. Okay, so list of non-vanishing Christopher symbol from this is 1, 2 and 3rd. Okay, and this both are equal because 4, 1, gamma of 1, 4, 1 equals to gamma of 1, 1, 4. Similarly, gamma of this gives us our gamma of 1, 2, 2, comma, gamma of 2, 1, 2 equals to gamma of 2, 2, 1. Right? So from this we get the non-vanishing Christopher symbol as gamma of 1, 2, 2 and gamma of 2, 1, 2, which is similar equals to gamma of 2, 2, 1. Now gamma of 3, from this we can write gamma of 1, 3, 3, gamma of 2, 3, 3, comma, gamma of 1, 3, 1, which is equals to gamma of 3, 3, 1, gamma of 3, 1, 3. And also using 2 we have gamma of 2 or 3, 2, 3, which is equals to gamma of 3, 3, 2. Okay, so we have here also 4, 4 is depend on 1 and 4 both. Okay, so from this we can write our non-vanishing Christopher symbol as 4, 4, 4, gamma of 1, 4, 4, comma, gamma of 1, 4, 4 and gamma of 4, 1, 4 equals to gamma of 4, 4, 1. Okay, so this all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have total 12 non-vanishing Christopher symbol. And which can be calculated from the formula that gamma of Rmn, which is equals to GRS in bracket Mn comma S. So using this formula we calculate the Christopher symbol, and that is equals to GRS and the Christopher symbol of first kind, which is half in bracket G comma N, then here it is remain MS plus, that is comma 2 comma 1 minus comma 3. So comma 1, that is M. So here it is remain NS minus G Mn comma S. Okay, using this formula we calculate the Christopher symbol, and then we substitute this Christopher symbol to find the value of Rmn, that is this recit tensor Rmn, and then we calculate the mixed tensor form of Rmn, and after calculating this Rmn we substitute this value to find the Gmn. Okay, so we are omitting here the calculation and directly write the what the terms we have given here about the, that is we directly write here the values of Gmn, and you require to calculate all this calculation about Rmn, that is mixed recit tensor form and recit tensor Rns. Okay, so we have here, so our non-vanishing components of Christopher symbols are given by gamma of 1, 1 has the value 1 upon 2 a dash, gamma of 1, 2, 2 has value minus r e to the power minus a, gamma of 1, 3, 3 equals to minus r sine square theta e to the power minus a, gamma of 1, 4, 4 equals to 1 upon 2 e to the power b minus a into b dash, gamma of 1, 1, 4 equals to gamma of 1, 4, 1, both are equal and it has value 1 upon 2 a dot, comma, gamma of 2 1 2 that is equals to gamma of 2 2 1 equals to 1 upon r. Gamma of 2 3 3 equals to minus sin theta into cos theta. Gamma of 3 1 3 equals to gamma of 3 3 1 that is equals to 1 upon r. Gamma of 3 2 3 that is equal to gamma of 3 3 2 equals to cot theta. Gamma of 4 1 1 equals to 1 upon 2 e to the power a minus b into a dot. Gamma of 4 1 4 equals to gamma of 4 4 1 that is equals to 1 upon 2 b dash into gamma of gamma of 4 4 4 equals to 1 upon 2 b dash. Okay, so here dash, what is the meaning of dash? Dash is nothing but the derivative with respect to r, and dot is here because our a and b are function of r and t. Therefore, dot is nothing but our derivative with respect to t, partial derivative of a with respect to t. Okay. Now, using this we calculate the GMN by using the receipt answers. We get that G11 has the value e to the power minus a b dash upon r plus 1 upon r square minus 1 upon r square. G22 that is same as the G33 equals to the in a closed bracket we have e to the power minus a b double dash upon 2 minus a dash into b dash upon 4 plus b dash square upon 4 plus b dash minus a dash upon twice r bracket close minus e to the power minus b in bracket a double dot upon 2 plus a dot square upon 4 minus a dot into b dot upon 4. Okay, so this is the value of G11, G22. G22 is equals to G33 and we have G44 that is equal to minus e to the power minus a dash upon r minus 1 upon r square bracket close minus 1 upon r square. Also, because our a is depend on t, so we have also one of the form G14 that is equals to 1 upon r e to the power minus a into a dot. G41 that is equals to minus 1 upon r e to the power minus b into a dot. Now we substitute these values of GMN in the field equation, which is given by the equation number 3 as GMN equals to GMN plus capital lambda delta of Mn equals to 0. Okay, so for m equals to n equals to 1, we have G11 plus capital lambda delta 11 equals to 0. And since delta 11 that is canonical delta has value 1 when m equals to n, therefore this has a value 1. So substituting here the value of G11 as e to the power minus a in bracket b dash upon r plus 1 upon r square bracket close minus 1 upon r square plus capital lambda is equals to 0. Okay, we give this as a equation number a. Now again for m equals to n equals to 2, we have G22 plus capital lambda delta 22 equals to 0. And since delta of 22 is equals to 1, we substitute the value of G22 and which is same as G33. So G22 has value e to the power minus a. Here the bracket is inside this b double dash. Okay, so e to the power minus a and then we have the bracket. So correct here, e to the power minus a in bracket we have b double dash upon 2 minus a dash into b dash upon 4 plus b dash square upon 4 plus b dash minus a dash upon twice r bracket close minus e to the power minus b in bracket a double dot upon 2 plus a dot square upon 4 minus a dot into b dot upon 4, and here bracket is closed, plus capital lambda equal to 0. Okay, so we have this is as a equation number b. Now we substitute m equals to n. If we substitute m and n equals to 3, then this is same as the 433. So we substitute for m equals to n equals to 4. So m equals to n equals to 4, this equation that is GMN plus capital lambda delta Mn equals to 0 implies, so G44 plus capital lambda delta 44 equals to 0. What this G44, the value of G44 is this one. We have to substitute here. So G44 is minus e to the power minus a dash upon r minus 1 upon square minus 1 upon r square plus capital lambda equals to 0. That is, we multiply here by minus sign, so we get e to the power minus a dash upon r minus 1 upon r square plus 1 upon r square minus capital lambda equals to 0. We give this as equation number C. Okay, we give equation A for G11, that is the field equation for 1 1. We give equation B for the field equation 2 2. We give equation C for the field equation 4 4. Also for G14, that is, we have to substitute now m equals to 1 and n equals to 4 in this equation. Okay, and which gives us, because delta of, if we substitute here m equals to, we require G14. Okay, so m equals to 1 and n equals to 4. So delta of 1 4 is equals to 0 because m is not equals to n. Okay, so chronicle delta is 0. So this term is equals to 0. So we have only G14 equal to 0. Therefore, we directly compare this equals to 0. Okay, and also this is equals to 0 by the same argument. Okay, so we write this as e to the power minus a dot upon r equal to 0 and e to the power minus b a dot upon r, here it is dot, a dot upon r equals to 0, and we give this as a equation number 4, since delta of 1 4 equals to 0 comma delta of 4 1 equals to 0, chronicle delta is 0. So we have only this term is equals to 0. Now from this equation D, we can say that because e to the power minus a is not 0, so only that is, here product is 0 but e to the power minus a is not 0. So what we have, a dot should be equals to 0. So a dot equals to 0, and on integration we get, on integration a dot means here it is a partial derivative with respect to t. Okay, so we get derivative is equals to 0. Then after integration we get a should be constant. Okay, and this constant is nothing but it is equals to a of r. Why? Because as here we are integration with respect to t. Okay, and a is a function of r and t. So when we integrate, we take the integration, here r becomes constant, and therefore we take a as a function of r alone. Okay, and we give this as a equation number 4. Now we multiplying by r square to equation C. What is our equation C? We get, now here r square, if we multiply by r square, so r square here get cancelled, here r square get cancelled, and r square upon r is into r. So we have e to the power minus a r into a dash minus 1 plus 1 minus capital lambda, and we multiply here by r square, so it is lambda r square equals to 0. This is a capital lambda. Okay, so lambda into r square equals to 0. Now we can take the minus sign from this bracket common, so it is minus e to the power minus a 1 minus r into a dash plus 1 minus capital lambda r square equals to 0. And this is same as the minus r e to the power minus a dash, that is, this term is nothing but the derivative of the product r into e to the power minus a. So if we expand this derivative, that is the derivative of d by dr of r e to the power minus a, or del by del r, because a is a function of r and t. So what is this equals to? The derivative of r is 1 e to the power minus a as it is, plus, now r as constant, the derivative of e to the power minus a is e to the power minus a into minus a dash. Okay, so if we take the common e to the power minus a common, in bracket we have 1 minus r a dash, right? So the derivative of this term, that is the derivative of r e to the power minus a dash, is this term, and here it is minus sign. So minus r e to the power minus a dash whole bracket dash is equals to minus, we take this term to this side, so minus 1 minus capital lambda r square. Now minus minus get cancelled, so we have r e to the power minus a whole bracket dash is equals to 1 minus capital lambda r square. Now we can integrate here, so on integration we get, on integration this derivative get cancelled after integration, so r e to the power minus a equals to the integration of 1 is r minus integration of r square is r cube upon 3 plus the constant of integration, we say it is k. Okay, so where k is a constant of, what we have, k is constant of integration. Now we here r is in each r is present in each term, therefore we divide by dividing by r in our equation. Therefore we get e to the power minus a is equals to 1 minus capital lambda r square upon 3 plus k upon r. Okay, so we get that e to the power we get the value of e to the power minus a, which is equals to 1 minus lambda r square upon 3 plus k upon r. So see here, e to the power minus a is independent of this time coordinate. The time coordinate is not present in the formula of e to the power minus a. Okay, so here we get that e to the power minus a is independent of time coordinate. Similarly, we find the value of e to the power b, that is we find the value of a in terms of b, and we get that e to the power b is also independent of the time coordinate. Okay, now for to get the value of e to the power b, we add the term a and c. Now adding the term a and c here, what we have, since here minus 1 upon r square is here, in the multiplication we have e to the power minus a, here e to the power minus a plus 1 upon r square. Okay, so here it is minus sign, here it is plus sign, so this term get cancelled after adding. Similarly, here it is a capital minus lambda, here it is plus capital lambda in equation a. So by adding this we get capital lambda and minus capital lambda get cancelled. Similarly, the term minus 1 upon r square plus 1 upon r square get cancelled. So after adding equation a and c, we get that e to the power minus a, here it is common term and all these terms will get cancelled. So adding equation a and c gives, what this gives, e to the power minus a in bracket b dash upon r plus a dash upon r is equals to 0. But e to the power minus a is not 0, therefore this is equals to e to the power minus a b dash upon r plus a dash upon r equal to 0. This implies that is b dash upon r plus a dash upon r equals to 0, because e to the power minus a is not 0. So this implies, if we multiply this by r, implies b dash plus a dash is equals to 0. And on integration, because here derivative is present, okay, so we take the integration with respect to r, and which gives us, we get b a plus b is equals to some constant, and we take that constant as a function of t, because the integration is with respect to r, so t is constant, and therefore we take a plus b is equals to constant, that is nothing but our function which depend on t. So f of t is constant of integration. What this f of t denote? The constant of integration. And therefore we can write b is equals to f of t minus a. Okay, and thus e to the power b is equals to e to the power f of t minus a, that is nothing but our e to the power f of t into e to the power minus a. And as here we calculate that e to the power minus a is equals to this term, therefore e to the power f of t into 1 minus capital lambda r square upon 3 plus k upon r. Okay, So now we substitute the value of e to the power b and e to the power minus a in our line element. So line element, that is in this equation 1 we have here in equation 1 we have e to the power a, okay, and we get the value of e to the power minus a. So we have to take the reciprocal of this to get the value of e to the power a. So that is equation 1 implies now that is dA square equals to minus e to the power a is nothing but our 1 minus capital lambda r square upon 3 plus k upon r. It's inverse because e to the power minus a is present, so we have to take the reciprocal of that. So we take inverse, or which is 1 upon this, okay, dr square minus r square d theta square plus sine square theta d phi square plus e to the power b. The value of e to the power b is this, so it is equals to e to the power f of t 1 minus capital lambda r square upon 3 plus k upon r into dt square. Now as here this last term is depending on t, so we to change this value we change the form, that is we change t to t dash by some substitution, that is we are changing t to the new coordinate t dash by the substitution. What substitution we use? That is we use here multiplier, that is nothing but t dash is defined as t dash is equals to integral of e to the power f of t upon 2 into dt. Okay, so we calculate this term and we get the value of t dash, that is the new coordinate that we have changed t to t dash. As t dash is defined as integral of e to the power f of t upon 2 dt. Now we take the derivative of that. Dt dash is equals to e to the power f of t upon 2 into dt. So dt dash square equals to e to the power f of t into dt square. As here f of t upon 2, if we take the square, therefore this 2 get cancelled by the power, and therefore we have dt dash square equals to e to the power f of t into dt square. Now we substitute the value of e to the power f of t dt square as dt dash square in our line element, and therefore we have ds square is equals to minus dr square upon e to the power minus a has value 1 plus k upon r minus capital lambda upon 3 into r square, here it is r square, minus r square in bracket d theta square plus sine square theta d phi square plus 1 plus k upon r minus lambda r square upon 3, and into we have e to the power f of t into dt square, right? So we substitute the value of e to the power f of t dt square as dt dash square. So our line element becomes minus dr square upon 1 plus k upon r minus capital lambda r square upon 3 minus r square d theta square plus sine square theta d phi square plus 1 plus k upon r minus capital lambda r square upon 3 into dt dash square. Okay, so this is our form of ds square, and here g11, that is the coefficient of dr square, is the function of r alone. The coefficient of dt dash square is also a function of r alone, that is all gmn are independent of time coordinate, and thus our line element, that is this line element, is static. Okay, therefore our line element becomes static, and it is spherically symmetric because we have the spherical coordinate r, theta and phi. Okay, also if we substitute capital lambda is equals to 0 and k is equals to minus twice m. So when we substitute lambda equals to 0 and k is equals to minus twice m, therefore this line element is reduces to our squared exterior solution. Okay, and therefore here our proof of the theorem, Birchhoff's theorem, is completed. Thank you everyone.